Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is me, Dukect, live here on the Dukect Lounge. Thank you so much for joining me, Dukect, here on TalkShoe.com. Remember to call, and the number is 724-444-7444. Once again, the number is 724-444-7444, and the call ID connecting me, Dukect, is 92417. Once again, the call ID is 92417. Well, it's been one heck of a week here. And I was usually would be talking about the WWE stuff and everything else. I would like to talk about, and I will probably if things go um, good or anything else. If the show continues, like if it's a good show or what have you, if I'm feeling it, I will probably get back to that. There's some issues talking there, but not as big as this one. Because right now, I avoided talking about this subject because I feel like my voice is completely minuscule about this, and I feel like a lot of other people have talked about this who are a lot smarter and a lot more knowledgeable than I am. Guys like Movie Bob, Jim Sterling, Internet Aristocrat, Brian Lee, aka the Game Anthropologist, and any others. There's so many other people. In fact, other people have talked about this as well. Gemma Morgan, uh, Jenny Bruja, and Georgia Young, who recently, I think it was 2 days ago, at this recording, it is October 17th, that like 2 days ago, just had a really interesting HuffPost live issue about Gamersgate, talking about what's going on here, and I'll put the link of the video in the description. And it is a very interesting watch. And I feel like my voice, and I'll put this in the chat room as well if you want to go watch it. Not after, my show, of course. But I really feel that this Gamersgate, this craziness, this stuff has really, I feel like it did poison the well a bit. Not a bit, I think it's poisoned the well a lot. To a point that I don't know what's going to really be the real positive angle to this. I mean, I don't even just, it is to me, it's gone way out of control. And it's been out of control probably for just you know everything. It was gone way out of control like a couple of weeks ago when this hashtag started, which ironically started as a joke, and now it's just taken a life of its own. And people getting doxxed, websites just. I mean, just recently on Twitter, guy who did Browse Held High, Kyle. I can't pronounce his name. I can't pronounce any name because I can't speak. And I do a podcast. I am smart. I mean, there are so many, people who have just been doxxed, and yeah, Kyle, Kyle Galarian. If I'm mispronouncing it, if somehow by some miracle that he's listening, Kyle Green. I don't know anything else. I can't speak. I can't even talk. If he is watching or listening to the podcast, which I don't know. I don't think he does or anything else with me. Only probably said hi to him a couple times in my class. But he is a cool dude, and I don't think he'll probably listen. I mean, he probably wouldn't even come near listening to my podcast because, well, I'm small time. But if he does, I apologize for misspeaking his real name. He was doxxed. I mean, he was doxxed. Uh, just getting doxing and stuff. People say, it's either what about my harassment or they deserve it or something. It just seems more childish. And either when both sides do it, it's you know, I feel like it just makes me feel sick. It does. It makes me really feel sick when I see people, who just talking about this subject, getting their information, their information, their private information posted on. That's what doxing is putting someone's private information um, unknowingly on their knowledge, not even based on their knowledge. Just it's a crime, and it's a sad thing. It is a truly despicable thing, and I would not be surprised if somehow someone does dox me or something, because just if just the case, just talking about this issue gets doxed by whoever, what cause, which whatever, or anything else. I am, that to me stares me, because just talking about a subject is enough to basically try to get someone out there, using someone to get hurt. I mean, I mean, this is uh, tragic. This is truly tragic of how this mess is going on. This entire mess is is just a this is the reason why people look down about this. I mean, there's many other people who are in the active field. Um, Josh Whedon and talks about this. In fact, he tweeted this and says, um, you know, and the screenwriter director for the director screenwriter and director of the Avengers and Buffy the Vampire Slayer talks about how you know how Anita Sarkeesian was threatened with a bomb threat. And I know there are people say it wasn't as major threat, what have you, but it's still, these are things should be treated as seriously. And it's something really, and I know it's been reported that was not actually a serious threat. They'll probably find the person who did it. I don't know if they did find the person who did it yet. Uh, I hopefully they did, and probably get the necessary thing to treat a necessary type of the necessary ways to catch him, and put him just and not just can't speak and perform the reasonable amount of justice. Now hello guest too, but it's just this when you have Peyton Oswalt, you have Seth Rogen, Felicia Day of the Guild, uh, Tim Schafer talk about this. Uh, other people from other places have been talking about this, including Seth. Yeah, like I said, a lot of people who are outside of the gaming sphere have been talking about this as well. And I look at stuff like, say, how the Real Clear Politics stuff is. Their article about this shows there's some really interesting stuff here. Um, and I quote right here. This is, and I quote, this is from the article. It says that um, a controversy over video games may seem an unlikely candidate for a big story, especially with everything else in the news. Yet an epic internet drama known as Gamergate, now in its second month, continues to get media attention and fueled animated debate. In its latest flare-up, Intel found itself in the crossfire last week with a pull ads from Gamasutra, a gamer website, at the center of the quarrel. While this saga has everything from sex to alleged corruption, Gamergate has also become a battle in a larger culture war. To liberals and progressives, it's part of a reactionary white male backlash against the rise of diversity. In this case, sexist thugs out to silence and destroy women who seek equality in gaming, in the gaming subculture. To conservatives and right-leaning libertarians, it's a welcome pushback against left-wing cultural Dukect, particularly in the again, this is the article, and I'll put the link in the description. It's a welcome pushback against left-wing cultural dictate, whatever, particularly in the area of gender politics. Meanwhile, Gamergaters themselves say that what they want is ethics and transparency in the gaming media. As often happens, reality is more complex than any of these narratives. While the Gamers Revolt has very legitimate issues, it is also true that it has been linked to some very ugly misogynist harassment of feminists. It also seems clear that the overwhelming majority of Gamergate supporters reject such tactics, and that harassment related to this conflict has been a two-way street. For the supposed misogynist hate mob, Gamergate includes a lot of vocal women, and they have their own complaints of gender-based abuse, such as being called gender traitors or even male sock puppets. Finally, the feminism Gamergate rebels against is not simply about equality or diversity. It is an authority. I can't talk. I apologize. Again, I cannot speak. Live show, everybody. It is an authoritarian, far-left brand of gender politics that views everything through the lens of patriarchal oppression and tolerates no dissent. Wow, that's and this article continues saying about the right here it says, and that person who's writing this is not a gamer. He says, continues, says, I do have personal experience with the gamers' mortal enemies, the so-called social justice warriors, to know that they can be a highly toxic in their presence. Those who voice their loathing of the SJWs are not simply talking about people sympathetic to socially progressive causes, but about cultural zealots who are forced to party line with the fervor of Miles Red Guards, luckily without the real life power, in social media discussions of art and entertainment. The warriors can be found sniffing out and attacking such ideological deviations as liking a heterosexual love interest for a character perceived as gay, liking or disliking a character on the wrong side of the race and gender identity politics, or I kid you not, using the ableist nickname Derpy for a klutzy pony on the TV cartoon My Little Pony, and yada yada yada. And again, I always have this thing about social justice warriors, and I always when I see that, when I talk about that, or look about it and talk to people I know about them, is I get what they're trying to do, and most of them are young and want to do real good. Truly people, and to me, the person who recently won the Nobel Peace Prize this year. In fact, Mala Yousafzai's, I can't pronounce anything. Mala Yousafzai Nobel Peace Prize. She won because of what she has. She stood up for female education for human and for Pakistan, for our native country of Pakistan. To me, I feel like that should be, if someone talks about social justice, I think something like that would be important and such. Someone talking about what's happening with that. You have, people who really do go through horrible situations of building people, who truly do have threats against their lives. and truly do have who go through these horrible, horrific situations, and go through these things and try to improve. And all the reason why they do this is to help better society, to make sure we can become better. And I get that, and I truly do. I truly do see that part of it. You want to help the people who are, you have people who are transphobic, or are people who are minorities, and women and everyone else who have, and people with mental disabilities. So you want to speak out for them, and especially entertainment wise. You look at what entertainment you see, in video games. There's a lot of white guys saving the world. I mean, that is to me really depressing. Or why can't we have more? I always bang the gavel for people. We should have more people, minorities and women in games that are lead characters, that are meaningful to the plot instead of being rescue devices. I want people to not only die, I don't want them to be victims. I don't want anyone to be like male or female to be victims in games. Majority of women, I do not want that, and most people don't want that either. I want to see more positive changes in gaming, more diversity, something that people can look and say, yeah, I want to see a character, African American character, go and say today. Like, for example, instead of saying I want to hear about Greek folklore, how about African folklore? Why do we have to settle for things in the European? Why not go for something in Spain, or something in something in Africa, something there are huge stories that would be perfect for video games in terms of African folklore, and it's just a shame that no one seems to have a chance to actually talk about, nor even do anything about that. To me, that's a waste. I mean, that is a huge waste that most people seem to I would love to see it. I think that would be great for something gaming, and something you see in gaming instead of the same old stuff. It would be a black guy saving the world, or a woman, a black woman, a gay person saving the world. And another thing, I don't want that. What really make this even better is not, don't pronounce them. They are people saving the world. They're not just this one thing. They are human beings or whatever trying to save the day. And you can call importance to it, but it's not like, detrimental, saying only this gay guy can do this or anything else. It's because the reason why he is chosen to save the world is because of his bravery, his actions, and all these things, and proxy your actions, that makes him the chosen one, or whatever, or that type of thing. And deal with the consequences of being good, evil, or what have you. That would be something I really, really want to see about, would be positive in gaming. We need to see that. And also, I guarantee most of the social justice warriors would agree that we need more transparency in media. I know a lot of people want to have this against this anger and such, but I don't see it as much. I really think that if we continue on this path of anger and just back and forth, we're not going to really get anywhere. I mean, I know this is something foolish, and someone will say this is crazy, invoking this person's name, but I mean, I really wish there was someone in the whole thing was to be like a Nelson Mandela in this, and actually try to unite these people, try to bring people together instead of you just. And more I see this, the more I look about it, the people I follow on Twitter, the more I see on Twitter, and people are just making their lines drawn, I feel that we're just going to divide ourselves to a point that I don't think we're not even going to be even recognizable. It's hurting everybody. I just think we need, I think we do need some, and I get it. I do. I get the fact that we have these problems. I get it. I get the fact that that the people, that I get the fact that most of these people who do these things have really no option, because it's not really, you don't really make a lot of money making these game reviews. They have to rely on ads. They have to rely on these things. They have to rely on these game producers and stuff to make more money and build up their site. Unless someone wins the lottery or someone has a huge truckload of money, you're not going to see very unbiased journalism on these websites. You're not going to see it. So we need this. I mean, that's going to be, unless someone wins the lottery or we have one huge Patreon or Kickstarter or whatever, unless something like that happens, where there's little to no ad space for these guys for the website, you're not going to see any. And I do mean you're not going to see any type of thing, any type of true transparency. That's the facts right there. You're not going to see any type of transparency until people have enough money to do it without the ads or anything else. That is what we have right now. And until that changes, and until we have something like that, things are not going to change. We need to have true transparency. But until then, until those websites, until those guys have enough money to have that freedom to do so, it will never happen. You know, it will never happen. And I do want people to chime in on this in comments or whatever, because I do want some people to talk about this subject. I feel like this is something we need to get off our chest here, and people want to get it, because I already have some people who commented on this on my YouTube blog, what have you. And I'm Batman8472. Put a link of a Thunderfoot video, and I already watched the video, but I don't think it does help anything. Why feminism poisons everything? I don't think it actually helps. I don't think it actually helps with the whole situation. And again, it divides people. No one's sitting here and actually trying to help unite these people, help unite the people. But Capitalist here says this. Also was happy that I jump on a Neo no Kuni. Yes, I've been playing that recently. But it's a lot better than Destiny, I can tell you that much. I stopped playing Destiny. I stopped playing. I just, I don't know. Maybe they can make an update when the game is actually more interesting. Or actually have an update that actually has the entire story. Instead, I have to go and get these, a good story instead of just, bleh. I am bored. I like the combat, but I am bored in Destiny. Destiny is density, as Razor Fist would say. Like a YouTuber who chimed in about this Gamergate stuff. Anyway, back to the comment. It says, as for the whole Gamergate thing, I haven't been following it too closely. But if, and I do mean if, as nothing has been proven, and the claims came from the acts which started all this stuff, the conspiracy by an aristocrat saying Zoe Quinn had sex with 5 guys. I don't care about that. But the reason why people cared is because she had sex with people around the industry, and then she got multiple public sources, multiple people, pump up her game Depression Crest. I haven't played the game or anything else. The guy green light on Steam, and supposedly she doxed during this time, around this whole time. I'm not saying she was having sex with guys while doing it. That would be just, stupid. Around this time, she doxed people, the Fine Young Capitalist, a group that was trying to raise money for a cause to help women make an independent game, people who are wanting to get minorities and women into gaming. She didn't think they did enough to get more people in, so she accidentally doxed people. I don't know. I don't know what the huge story is, but she was implicated into that. And if I am wrong, I apologize for that. But it seems that there was a huge huge misunderstanding. And the funding capitalists lost the money. They don't know what's going to happen. They're like, we don't know if they're going to have this whole contest thing. But luckily, a lot of good people from, believe it or not, 4chan, actually, the 4chan, the worst place on the internet, somehow, I don't know how many good people there are there. I'm seriously, I know I try to avoid places like 4chan. Somehow gave them enough money to continue this contest and help people get into gaming, which is, I think, is a very good thing. But also Zoe Quinn, I don't know what she did and if it's true or not. I don't like the fact that her ex did this, really put her type of stuff out there. I personally think what he should have done, if he found this all out, try to contact her privately and get this stuff done. I don't know why they had to go through this thing, because the ex just dropped this huge bomb and all this craziness has happened, and it's sad. I don't know, but whatever. And supposedly that the people, but yet this thing continues. Says, what I do find wrong was that people on YouTube who were giving an honest review of her game and weren't heaping total praise on it were getting DMCA'd. Well, yeah, getting and that was a DMCA is a Digital Millennium Copyright Act. Someone saying, hey, you're taking my copyrighted material. Saying, oh, you're that's what it is, a copyright act. They say, okay, you're trying to you're stealing a person's copyrighted work and putting it on your site or something. That's what a DMCA is. I know that was a clunky way to get their definition, but Google it yourself, people. But mostly DMCAs, for the most part, the people who are talking about the game are protected under the banner of fair use in the United States. I don't know where these other YouTubers were they're probably in the other countries. They probably have some type of law putting there for fair use in the United States or for their own countries. They have their own type of fair use in their own countries or such, hopefully. And even guys like Total Biscuit, I think Total Biscuit, never follow him, but I heard he's actually a good guy on YouTube. He's saying that, Total Biscuit was DMCA'd by one indie developer. Which, in fact, the funny thing is that I think Jim Starley talked about this, how indie developers are getting really upset about how some people are talking about their games. And I think I'll put the link in the description. He has talked about this before, about indie developers getting really upset and starting filing false, putting DMCA, putting copyright claims on them, ignoring the fact of fair use, and it hurts them in the long run. And if this is the case with her, well, if people are not going glowing praise about Depression Quest, and she's doing that, I mean, that to me, that's just wrong as well. I mean, that is wrong. Even if someone's talking bad, hell, I put my stuff in there, and I know guys like some ASAL area or anyone else want to do a video thing on me or anything else, I like, hey, first off, thanks for publicity, that's nice. And secondly, if I need to improve something and say I suck or say what have you, I mean, okay, I'll take it into consideration and try to fix myself and do better. I mean, even if they're overly malicious with the stuff, trying to play for a comedic effect or anything else, I'm not going to get that mad because more people know about it and people want to see they check it out for themselves or anything else. At least you get one person downloading. In fact, this game is for free. I don't know why she would actually for a DMCA. Maybe they were mischaracterizing. And if that was the case, why don't Zoe Quinn actually talk to these YouTubers and such and say, hey, this is not what this game is about or anything else. Have a dialogue. Talk to them about it. And see that they actually can be, and see what type of solution they can come up with, which is, I think, would have been a better overall solution to it. And, I think that would be a better solution, but that's just my personal thing. Anyway, and this person continues. This is says this is what I was more angry about in this whole deal. Strikes rather close to home. Says my channel is gaming based, and I've been meaning to start up more reviews. He's a gamer, so yeah, capitalist right now. I'll put a link in the description to give you a shout out. Says as it's a blatant abuse of YouTube's system to evoke censorship of unfavorable viewpoints. At the end of the day, though, I'm just tired of seeing this pop up on Twitter and want to get back to enjoying, discussing, and playing actual games with people. And I'm right there with you, capitalist. I'm right there with you. I'm tired of this stuff. It's frustrating. I mean, I'm basically feeling nostalgic for the people who are so upset about, the Mass Effect endings. Remember that? Remember that, people? That was fun. That was so much fun. Oh man, I want to go back to that. I want to go back to that so badly. But I feel like this thing is going to continue on. I honestly, with the way it's going and with all this other stuff, it might continue probably for the end of the year. And hopefully by the end of 2014, which has been a very, very, to me, very, depressing year and such. Hopefully it ends after this year and we can just move on and just get away from Gamergate and just go away. And I know there's so many other people who have this type of thing. Talk about it. There are so many other people who have this debate, who are going into this debate and talking about this stuff. And and it sucks. But I'm hopeful. I'm really hopeful after all this stuff, after all the poison has been let out and everything else just goes away, we can finally move on and start playing games and talk about them again, be it positive or negative. I think Kyle, said it best, and I will put this stuff up here because honestly, I think he said it best when he said it here. When he said this stuff right here about about all these other things right here. And after him getting docs or what have you, he said this. Right here, it says on Twitter. Remember that medium and genre convention are constructs. They change with time, and because we change them. Celebrate things that help you reevaluate those constructs. Rethink what art can be. Celebrate new voices, unfamiliar voices that show you the boundaries of an art form and teach you how to walk past those boundaries. Yeah. And I think that I really agree with that point. I really agree with that point, and hopefully we can move on. And hopefully, at the end of all of this, we can just sit back, relax, and say, "Whew," we can just move on we can just move on. We could just move on, and try to find something positive to do, and that's what the thing we can actually find is, and we could just drop with the hashtag not your shield and all that type of stuff. In the stuff, which by the way, I want to get on this point before I end my discussion on gaming, and hopefully it's my last thing, and I will get back to my little wrestling. Yes, this is going to be a long podcast, so sorry, but what I'm seeing with people with not your shield, who use that hashtag, who stand up minorities, and people who are and like, in fact, even people, again, you've seen people who are female, who are minorities, gay, straight, or with everything else. they're right there with the hashtag not your shield. They don't want to be those shields for people who don't say we're speaking for you. No, I speak for myself. I want to say, and I respect, and if I agree or disagree with something, I'm not going to call them Uncle Toms. I'm not going to call them, oh, they're being white or anything else. I don't like doing that. I don't want to shut someone down because they're not with me or anything else. This is the problem we are in the first place. Or, and I hate that. And I wish people on the other side would shout that down too. That we actually sit here and say, okay, you have a difference of opinion and you're shining on people who are doing threats. That's great. But, also, that's great. They should be encouraging that. But not also being the ones like saying, oh, that's horrible, you're sexist, misogynist. But telling people who are African American or who are women, they're saying, oh, they're Uncle Toms. They're shutouts. Oh, they're trying to be a white man. Oh, they're being slaves. Oh, they don't know any better. Being very condescending to them. This is the reason why a lot of people have not joined up with Gamergate, and gamers like myself, who are just sick of it. Because there are some garbage people, there are people who are doing that right now, the people who are taking that mantle up as game. But people inside the Gamergate community are trying to shut that down. But it just seems to me people who are anti-Gamergate are not doing anything. They're not doing anything to shut down the huge the people who are against that stuff. They're not shutting people down from this. It is they're not talking about anyone shutting people. They're not doing anything like that. To me, that's just even scary. In fact, threatening death to people, doing all this type of stuff. Saying the only way this thing's gonna happen, we need to stop this thing. The only way that's gonna happen is someone dies. And then saying, oh, who's and by the way, when I saw this picture right here, it just this one right here, I will send you the link to it. It really pissed me off here. It just but yeah, here it is. It says right here. I'll put the picture right there. It's in the link in the description. I'll show you to you right here. It says this. If you're not looking at the video on YouTube, here it is. Gamergate is like a cancerous tumor. It grows and spreads, and it will not stop. And it will not stop until it's taken out forcefully. And then the person responds and says, and how would you propose to remove said cancer? And the person said, I think you know exactly what I mean. And the person says, no, I don't have a clue. Actually, tell me. It says, quote, the person responding, I'm pretty sure this whole movement would stop to a standstill if someone dies from all this drama. He said, and the person says, who would you kill to stop Gamergate then? He's like, that depends. Who's the most vocal? And there's not been a single peep about this. And now people say, but they're like kids, but the show's not open, so I'm going to stop it. And then, you guys started first, like, that to me, that's childish as well. That you're not even going to respond to anything like that. You're not going to respond to the people who on your team, the ones who are anti-Gamergate, saying this stuff to people, doxing people as well, and you say nothing to it. And your silence gives them credence to do something. At least the Gamergate people actually are saying, hey, don't dox people. We're reporting them on Twitter, on Facebook, and all these other things. But where the hell are everyone else there? They say, well, it's silent. It's not even. It's barely even mentioned. And that's what's frustrating about this too. And that's the reason why I can't really go on either side. Or heck, even someone say I'm leaning to the Gamergate people, because at least they actually will say, you know what, we are going to be responsible about that. At least they actually talk them down and such. Not here and other people at Gamergate, They don't say anything. When people get doxxed, hell, the person who started Not Your Shield actually got himself, got doxxed and got phone calls like, got fired because of all this type of stuff. I don't get this. I do not see how in the hell, when it is the silence is deafening on there. And that's why I can't really get in on both sides of the issue. Because both sides have become so toxic, and the people in the middle are basically, it's the same thing. When the ideologues have taken over, no one's doing anything. But again, sadly, even if the people who are doing the games, who are standing up and saying this is wrong, are shouted down by the people who not only, I love this, and there was actually a comic of people who, you know, I think there's a comment about, let's see, where is it? I can't find it. I'll put the link in the description about a guy who, for whatever reason, a guy who's, who says right here, let's see, where is it? Look at this. Where is it? Where is this thing? This whole thing. I'm looking at his Twitter. I'm trying to find this whole thing right here. I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to really, really find this whole thing. That sort of thing. I'm trying to find it, but there is a, where is, because it would say, oh, a guy shooting someone up, like, oh, here, I'm trying to rob you, and saying, oh, I'm robbing you, and such, and saying, oh, this other guy's saying robbing you, and such, being the people on the Gamergate side are letting the people, just saying, oh, the Gamergate side is dead. The Gamergates are letting people do all what they want, which is not true. The Gamergate people are at least trying to say things. They're trying to bring things up. And you're not going to stop every single person. You're not going to stop that. And I wish and I hope people understand that. But, and saying you're in a hate group, leave or shut the F up. I'm like, no, that to me just shows me that all these other things, you're just being as much as someone who, to me just suits even more. Saying, oh, I try to find the comment, but if I can't, I'm sorry, if I can't find this whole thing about this, it says, oh, the guy's like, next to a robber saying he wants $20. He's yelling like, oh, I want to get my money. Well, I'm just right here next to him. I'm not doing anything, which is ironic because that is what the people anti-Gamergate actually are. They're the ones telling you have to be nice, but yet the other people are the ones robbing you. It's something like this, that really the hypocrisy. This is why people look down on the social justice warriors. These are the reasons why people hate you. Because on one hand, you're saying we're peace, love, and understanding, and we're open-minded. And the other hand, and the other side, you are the most authoritative, censorship-having pieces of shit you ever have. It is, to me, truly you are two-faced. Or heck, even one-faced, it's such, not even two-faced, And it's sad, because there's so many things you can do to bring people together. And if it doesn't fit your narrative, you go off in this other place, It's frustrating. And I know I don't want to go in that route, but sometimes, and I guarantee you I'll probably be doxxed after this, and my words will be twisted around saying, oh my God, Charles Thomas and everything else. Yeah, my real name's Charles. But, oh my goodness, you're horrible. You're a race traitor and all this type of stuff. I can't wait for that stuff to happen, even though I've tried to be as fair as I can. I tried to be as fair as I can. I want, and like I said in the beginning, and if you heard me, and I'll say it again, I want more women in games and be more of a, with more characters and more importance in games. I want more African Americans in there. I want more, people who are gay or trans and gay or something like that to be truly meaningful in games. I want that. And if you think that you want to twist my stuff around and say that I'm a horrible person and saying, oh, you're helping people or anything else, it's like guilting the person who you are guilting the person to believe what you believe and not even having enough, the courtesy to have facts on your side. Again, I hope I'm wrong because I do enjoy Todd's work and I do enjoy, most of these guys' work. And I'm not even coming close to saying all that type of stuff. Because honestly, the people who dox them, anyone who dox someone should go to jail. Not only should they go to jail, but somehow find a way that they can never go on the internet again. Once you do that, you should be completely gone. They find your IP address or whatever. Anything else that clicks to you or something, maybe put some type of collar there and say, "There, you'll never get on the internet again." That should be people who get doxing or anything else. We find them, I don't care how young you are or something like that. I don't know, maybe 5, 10 years or something like that. Put that like, say, oh, you can't get online. You can never, ever get online ever again. You can never, and then after that 10 years, you can never get on social media again. I know it's impossible to do, but I want that type of stuff to happen for these people. I'm sorry I go on this tangent. And I didn't want to go on this tangent. I wanted to be as calm as possible. And I was going to be that calm, but that last couple seconds that killed it. And again, if I offend anyone, I truly am apologize. I truly I'm sorry. And no bullshit. I do not want to offend anyone about this. I just want to just say that I'm sick to death about this thing. I want to be done with Gamergate. Hell, if this whole thing didn't happen, if any kind of season to start gaming, I was going to be talking about some WWE stuff. I was going to talk about that. I was going to talk about how in Hell in a Cell, that might, John Cena, Randy Orton main event again. I was going to have a podcast talking about that and talk about that. And, I could do that, but I don't want to have you sit here for 2 or 3 hours, talking and bitching and such. I don't want to do that to you. I don't know what else to say. But yeah, it's a frustrating mess. I want this thing to change. And hopefully by the end of the year, we will have some positive resolution to it. Anyway, that's the show for this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for listening and taking part. And I want to, again, thank you guys. And hopefully in the comments, you're not yelling or screaming or anything else like that. I really want to have courage, really positive discussion. And I hope after this we can somehow find a way that we can become close together. Because like I said in the video I released, that the end of that Transformers cartoon, that's going to happen. That will happen to the landscape of gaming gamers. Whoever wins this damn feud with Gamersgate, it's going to be nothing but a destructive force. And it will be just basically, it will be basically destroyed. Nothing will be positive. It'll be a completely and utterly destroyed. Game will be completely destroyed, and the other say, "Yeah, we won." Yeah, whatever side does, at the end of the day, that is going to be the future. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. I hope I am. Hope we can get this thing settled out and you can just relax and play some games. All right, this is Dukect here. Peace and love. I'll see y'all when I see y'all later.